Hi, I'm Tony. Welcome to Sports Bike Shop's review of the Scorpion Exo-GT SP Air helmet. It's a lot easier to like the Scorpion Exo-GT SP Air helmet than it is to say its name. It's a lightweight sports touring helmet that delivers a great blend of comfort, premium feel, impressive ventilation and good vision. I took one on for a while to review it, and actually I found myself going back to wear this more often than I thought, as it's a genuine all-round performer. So let's run through the main details and also how I found this helmet to perform out on the road. The shell is made entirely from carbon fibre, and that shows on the scales. Having a carbon fibre shell doesn't always translate to a light lid, but in this case it does. This size medium weighs in at 1445 grams on our scales. We've not weighed many helmets with a sun visor and the most recent safety approval that come in lighter than this one. And it's not just the scales that say it's light, experience does too. This felt like a light helmet when I wore it out on the road. The aerodynamics of the helmet are also good in my experience. I had no issues with stability over a few hundred miles of riding. And it was the same with noise. Again, I had no issues there. But your experience could be different to mine on that. Firstly, I always wear earplugs while I'm riding, and the Auratech plugs that I wear are quite high up the protection scale. Also, wind noise is dictated mostly by the way it deflects off your bike and the way it hits the helmet. So it's impossible for me to say this helmet will be quiet or noisy in your particular circumstances. It's a similar story with ventilation. Some bikes will stop airflow into the helmet vents, but most bikes allow those vents to do their job. I found the vents to be effective on this helmet, especially at the chin, where airflow is excellent. Exposing the opening here allows air to flow through to the mouth, and it also sends some air up into the eye port to keep that fresh. It's one of the most noticeable chin vents I've experienced, and I have worn a lot of helmets over the years. The sliding vent on top, that also works, but it's not as potent as the chin vent. This one feels like it's more about extracting warm air rather than sending in cooling air. Sliding the vent back allows warm air to rise into channels inside the EPS impact liner, and it can escape through exhaust vents at the back of the helmet. Right, let's cover the visor. It's got two intermediate steps on its way down before the bottom lip comes to rest on the seal. This second step is the cracked position, and I found that to be quite effective when I was wearing this lid. I found I could adjust that opening slightly to suit what I wanted, and it would stay in that position even at motorway speeds. Once the visor edge rests on the seal, pushing it clicks it home. To release that lock, there's then a button just under the lifting tab. The visor is protected by Pinlock 120 XLT, which covers virtually all of the visible area and gives excellent peripheral vision. If you need to alter the tension of that pinlock, external screw adjusters make that a very easy job. The visor is optical class 1, and I found it to give excellent clarity of vision. This helmet also came with a second tinted visor in the box. As we record this, all models of this lid come with this extra visor. It's what I call a mid-smoke visor, so it's darker than a light smoke, but it's not as dark as a full black race visor. I can't be definitive on whether this is or isn't legal for road use. If a visor allows 35% light transmittance, it can pass the ECE 2206 safety standard as long as it's marked for daytime use only. This visor has that sort of tint level and is marked as being for daytime use only. But the UK's advice is that a visor has to allow through at least 50% of available light to be legal for road use. So I can't say what would happen if you were pulled over and questioned about your visor. What I can say is that your chances of actually being pulled over and asked about this visor, especially in daylight hours, are roughly equivalent to me winning World's Strongest Man. Now, if I wore one of these at night and I got pulled over, then in my opinion, I deserve everything that got thrown at me. But worn in the day, the tint level on this is excellent. With full race visors, sometimes they're too dark on a cloudy day, but with this tint level, this visor is more usable in those cloudy conditions, and it also knocks off a lot of the glare on a bright sunny day too. There's also a sun visor, which is also optical class 1, and it has a good tint level and a decent amount of drop. But if there's too much drop for you, there's a limiter switch here that will reduce the amount of travel. This might be handy if the lower edge of the sun visor touches your nose. I liked the sun visor in my time wearing this lid. When using the tinted main visor, I found that using the sun visor as well would help a lot when I was riding into low sunlight. Now, I'm sure that's technically illegal, but I think being on the wrong side of the law is a small price to pay for being able to see where I'm going. Now, one thing I did find with the sun visor, I had to learn how the operating switch worked. I could find the tab with my finger, but I couldn't get it to move, because rather than sliding straight down, it runs at a slight angle. Once I realised I needed to slide from the top of my left ear towards the nape of my neck, I had no issues after that. But at first, I was cursing and thought the helmet was broken. Okay, let's move inside. The interior lining is very distinctive with a smooth fabric that has a fleckled finish. I found this to be very effective at keeping me cool, and it's the sort of lining that is especially comfortable in higher temperatures. The interior also has a Scorpion speciality that helps with comfort, and that's called AirFit. These are inflatable cushions behind each cheek pad that will bring those pads closer together. It seems like a gimmick at first, but it can help to get the perfect fit around your cheeks, and it can also tighten the fit a little bit if the helmet's fit loosens over time. The foam stops before the top of the cheek pads as well, which is designed to help those of us who wear spectacles when we're riding. It took a little bit of fiddling around, but I could get my glasses in place and they stayed in the right position afterwards as well. Now, finally with the interior, the strap fastener, you get D-rings, and on this helmet, they're made from titanium. I can't say how much difference that makes to weight, but I guess every little helps. Okay, let's move on to Intercom compatibility. This helmet is designed to accommodate Scorpion's Exo-Com Link 1 and 1C intercom units, which Scorpion say are made in-house. They are relatively basic, and they only have Bluetooth capability for bike-to-bike comms. I think most riders will prefer an aftermarket system, and the helmet's design makes it easy to fit one of those. The recesses in the EPS have room for a pair of 45mm Cardo speakers, which are the biggest mainstream units at the moment. And then there's a decent surface on the shell where you can put the control module. I'd say a self-adhesive pad will give you a better finish than a clip mount because there's an obstruction inside right where you'd slide the clip between the shell and the EPS. Okay, let's cover sizes, approvals and prices. This helmet comes in sizes from extra small up to double extra large. There are 3 shell sizes. The smallest of those covers helmet sizes extra small up to medium. The middle shell is dedicated purely to helmet size large, and then the biggest shell covers helmet sizes XL and above. I wore a size medium. I found it fitted me perfectly. That's the size I normally wear. Our returns data also suggests the sizing is pretty intuitive. It's more likely the helmet will come back for being too small than too large, but 95% of customers kept the first helmet they ordered. Approvals. This helmet meets the ECE 2206 standard for use on the road, and it's been awarded a 4-star rating under the UK government's SHARP testing programme. It's also ACU Gold approved for use on UK race circuits. Now, earlier helmets won't have the sticker on them when you buy it, but if you get one of those and you want to use the helmet on track, contact your dealer and they can arrange to apply a sticker for you. Pricing. In plain colours, the list price is $379.99 and graphics range from $419.99 up to $439.99. If you want a carbon fibre helmet for that money, there aren't many of them with a carbon shell, a sun visor and D-rings for a similar price to this. An LS2 Dragon is in the same ballpark, or you could jump up the price scale for an HJC Alpha 72 Carbon or a Shark Spartan GT Pro Carbon. But I've been very impressed with this helmet in my time with it. It's light, it's got good build quality, ventilation is very good, and the liner has a premium feel. The extra tinted visor that you get with the helmet is a real plus as well. This is the first in Scorpion's Apex series of helmets where they're putting extra effort into creating helmets with premium materials and better optical clarity. And I think that has paid off here. I've tried quite a few Scorpion helmets over the years and I think this is their best helmet so far. If you're after a lightweight sports touring helmet and you want D-rings rather than a ratchet strap fastener, make sure you give this helmet some serious consideration. I hope that tells you everything you wanted to know about the Scorpion Exo-GT SP Air, but if there is anything you'd like to ask or to add, then please pop a comment below. Thanks for watching.